Welcome to another episode on Alpha Podcast, the space where every conversation brings you closer to smarter decisions. I'm your host for today, and my name is Grace Samuel, and here with me is
Achibona Oluwaseun. Today, we'll be diving into the topic that says differences between commercial real estate and residential real estate. Whether you're an investor or a homeowner or you're just curious, this particular episode is for you. So stay tuned.
there's a whole lot to unpack, and we have someone here with us, a seasoned real estate expert, someone that breathes, eats, and sleeps with properties.
Okay.
With us is Mr. Olaoluwa Vincent Akiola.
Wow.
Nice to have you here with us.
Thank you. I mean,
You're welcome.
you guys really got me that way. Wow, that was nice. Okay. Well, I believe that you guys still also seasoned at your job, and I could see how you guys played it out. Well,
Thank you very much.
I am Ololu Vincent Akiola, and thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure having you here.
So, Mr. Olaoluwa, it's really nice to have you here to clarify some of the curiosity people are having to understand and know differences between a commercial real estate and a residential real estate. So, that brings me to ask you this question. Can you explain the differences between a commercial real estate and a residential real estate?
Okay, thank you so much. I mean, that's a very vital question, and people really do have curiosity on that. And when you have curiosity on a thing, it's okay to satisfy your curiosity. Okay?
Exactly.
And yes, for what it is, there's a whole lot of difference between a commercial real estate and a residential real estate.
Okay.
And let's just take it and make it simple. Going by what it sounds like, the residential, it's like about you having a home. It's about where people come in to live in. Okay, so after the day-to-day work activity, then they come back to a place that they can call a home. So that's why we have that to be residential real estate. Okay, so trying to create a serene environment whereby they can keep their hair cool, calm, have a place whereby they can get rejuvenated, have a place whereby they can feel strengthened again with their family, safety, security, in that kind of a cozy moment in their home house and space. So that's why it's called residential real estate. When you come to commercial real estate, this is about whereby you have the business mindset. So it's all about business. It's all about satisfying a purpose for investing. It's satisfying a purpose of rendering the services, and it's all about a place whereby all of that place you're just having people coming in and out to just take in services and go out with services and one or two. And this is the kind of place that you have thousands of people. So it's more like a public site. Okay. So all that goes on there is just business. Okay. So like I forgot to mention also in real estate, in residential real estate, you can have that to be like an apartment and have that to be like a condo. But you see, for commercial real estate, and looking at places like a shop, they're looking at a place like a school. They're looking at a place like a hospital, an office space. You get so a whole lot is happening together all at once in that space, and you're having a whole lot of people coming to. So these are the key difference between a commercial real estate and a residential real estate.
Okay, so that brings me to I need an elaboration about residential real estate.
Okay.
So some people go ahead to rent out their residential apartment.
Okay.
So can we classify that as part of a commercial real estate?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I understand. We just want to make it like a side way to also get income.
Yeah.
And not only in Nigeria do they do that as well. You go to places in Canada, you also have the opportunity to also rent out your apartment. But the thing is this, for what it is, at that point in time, that's not really commercial because you're not really doing it commercially. And what you're still servicing at that point in time is still bringing in somebody to come stay also in a home space. Okay, so the person is just coming into a home space and not just also having itself to do other businesses. Okay, so you're giving this person that's coming to stay in a residential place as yourself a kind of a rudiment, a guideline that would not permit that person to do certain things that would have happened in a commercial space. So, in what it is, the term at that point in time, you can no longer say, because you're going into residential real estate, having people now come in as tenancy, that simply means that you're doing commercial. Because there are also that are also involved in doing commercial. You talk about the management.
Okay.
There are things that you want to manage that you would not be able to do in terms of when you have it in the residential access. So compared to when it's in the commercial access, take for instance, when you have a place that this person has rented at a certain time and yet decided to tell you that because I rented this place, then I have the right to also have a shop
Exactly.
in front of this place and say, okay, I want to do a little business and have it. And so you want to have different people coming into that space to come and patronize, and that's no more giving
It's not
that.
conducive.
Thank you, ma'am. It's no more giving a conducive environment for the safety of, oh, this is a home that this you get. So when you want to go really commercial, then know that you're going really commercial. But it's okay to go also in that residential form, but don't think to yourself that what you're doing at that point in time is commercial.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was an elaborate explanation. So when I said he eats, sleeps, and breathes properties, I was actually
got that
right.
right.
Yes, I was
Mhm.
actually right. Thank you very much. And to those that have questions, I'm sure that Mr. Olaoluwa has actually responded and given an elaborate explanation.
Yes.
So, Mr. Olaoluwa, you mentioned the difference between commercial and residential real estate. And then that brings me to ask, what are the laws and the regulations guarding the commercial and residential real estate, and how does it affect the property usage?
Okay, thank you so much. The truth about it is, for every country, they have the layout plans.
Okay.
Okay, also, and that's why you have a department set aside for the urban and housing planning. They get to think about how that could work out. And what you just must come to the truth of is that for anything you want to purchase in a state, to say, I want to acquire for myself a land, be ready to get involved with the government because they have a proper planning of how they intend their state to be like. So it's not going to make proper sense. And these are the problems we see that has come to eat us in Nigeria for some time now when Lagos State start doing a whole lot of movement. And we think that the government is really not in support of us owning a place that we wanted. No, the actual fact is that people have neglected going to check upon what the layout should look like. It's available for everybody to know. So you need to walk up to them, get to know, look, I want to get this place. Is it okay for me to do this and do this? Then they get to explain to you that, okay, for what it is for our layout, we are looking at certain things. There's going to be maybe a train line coming through this place. And for that reason, we would like to give a setback for people who want to do one or two. So, and what would the setback be? We would want them to have a residential happen in this place for the safety of their health, noise pollution, thinking about that, thinking about their what the accident. So it should not come take away lives and all of their properties. You understand? So they could better say for these reasons, we're deciding that the only people that can work in these axes could only be commercial people. So you want to know, you want to be very sure that this is the place that you have acquired. Is it meeting with your own kind of dreams and vision, what you want for yourself? And these things are also having this positive side because you asked that question. Imagine now you make all of this inquiry. Probably you were intending to just do something that would just serve for maybe just residential use, and you happen to see that that place is going to be commercial. Instead of you feeling like, wow, I don't budget for that, but I need you to see it as a good opportunity.
Exactly.
I just said, wow, okay, this is going to eat this place. We never saw that coming. Yes, the truth about it is, at some point in time, because of there are so many things the government are going to be doing at the same time, they might not be able to carry out everything the way we intend them to do it at the same time. So for that reason, you might see that, you are not getting it at that time, that there is going to be a structure plan for a blue line, red line rail coming to this axis. So now you know that's a good leverage for you. So it's best for you to just do what? Buy the land, keep, and but it's important that you understand that there are lots of difference between the rules, but there's a lot of rules and regulation that governs this commercial and residential. Another thing, for instance, is you should understand if you want to have a residential place, You don't want to now make sure that you want to be sure that there's no say to say a market, a kind of or do I want to use a market? Okay, let me say a church. A church also getting to carry their own speakers coming across your
the
face. You
environment.
understand the environment because these are not what. So in a proper state, there is always this planning
Layout.
that has been laid out. So you take time and ask because not asking might cost you your investment.
So buying a property goes beyond that.
Exactly, you
So you
got it
have
right.
to make the necessary process and
Please do,
information you need
please
to
do.
Okay, so so far from what you have said, that has given us a whole lot of insights as to why you hear cases of okay, I bought a property, I built on it, and then all of a sudden it was demolished. That means the person didn't actually go into the proper agencies that are in charge of that particular area
Yes.
before getting it. Is
Yes.
that what you're
yes,
trying to tell
yes,
us?
yes. In
Okay,
fact,
so before getting a property, you have to make all the necessary requirements, go to the necessary agencies,
yes, ma'am.
get it all documented.
Yes.
Okay, so to endeavor that you do not fall a victim of getting a property and then you build on it and it ends up getting demolished, you have to go through the necessary channel, go to the necessary agencies. Thank you very much for that insight.
Yeah. So and we have this. What are the typical financial provision provided for the commercial real estate and the
Residential real estate.
residential real estate? Thank you.
I think for what it is, this will have to be your kind of opportunities that you might want to take hold of. What I mean is this: for anyone who wants to go into commercial real estate, or let's just say for a citizens of the country, there are soft loans made available. You talk about it depends now. If it's the residential, you have mortgage plans. You have some of the plan that the state government makes available for the people to also get into doing mortgage loans so that they can own a house for themselves. And if you want to look at it, even if it is what's it called for the commercial, you could also have even bigger people, a bigger connect of cooperatives. You have people like cooperatives decide to do a loan. You have people that are personal investors. They could decide to say, okay, share in your vision and say, okay, we get to want to loan you some fund to get this done and make it happen. You understand? You could also have you create a kind of a scheme whereby you say to them, okay, why don't you do this with us? By the time you bank with us on this, there's what we call land banking. By the time you tell the people that okay, see, you know what, keep your money with us, and in so X amount of time, we are going to be getting this amount back as your return,
That is
inclusive
a
with your
return
on
on investment.
investment. You get so some people get to do that. Okay, if they have some private investors who would like to trust them and get to do that, and also some people can also decide to just come together in their numbers and just decide to say, okay, let's make this happen. And at the end of the day, you promise them to say, okay, we give you maybe office one, office two
Yeah.
as your own proceed, and you get to what earn from it as time goes on, maybe forever. So it's just like a more of a partnership, and that way it can help you to financially, establish that investment goal that you want for any properties
Okay.
that you want to do.
So as to say to that, you're saying there are others options
Yeah.
rather than going to the bank for a loan.
Yes, I forgot to also mention, yes, of course, the
Okay.
financial institute also really, as long as you can present something foreseeable, something real, like name it is real estate, real, it's a real asset. So they can see when you share with them the vision, and they can see that oh, there's possibility
It
for you
is
to
achievable.
meet up with this, whether in a long time, and it is, of course, the bank are willing to help with that. But when you don't have the enough capacity to go through all of that as I said, because you know for sure that you're going to be using the building, in some cases, at the collateral at the long run. So some other things that are involved. So if you know you also have a way to go about it, like I mentioned, having few people who have same mindset that could also want to do those loans with you, believe in your vision, then you can embark on that kind of a journey. And you can also do the land banking, whereby you tell people understanding it so well that you've known your market, you understand this, you understand it, because I think we've had issues whereby people also have also gotten the wrong side of it, whereby they invest in people to do land banking, and at the end of the day, they are not getting their capital or let alone the interest on it as promised. So please, anyone who is also going to be doing that, of course, make sure you're making a realistic part of the smart goals. Make sure you're making a realistic kind of goal for people to come and invest in. So yes,
Is it true you need billions to start or venture into a commercial real estate?
Woo! Honestly,
Okay.
commercial real estate is capital intensive.
Mm.
Because even when you're going for loans, there are things that you must be very careful to know. Now, part of the high risk, in fact, it's a high risk business. One thing first is the economy of the nation. Wherever you're going to do a commercial, how strong is that economy? How well is it thriving? Where is the location? How is the market building? So as to when people get to say they own a service in there, they can always have people to exchange their services with for something you get so they can get their payback, or else you might be putting yourself in a whole lot of problem. Also, this is a kind of industry, the commercial real estate is a kind of industry that whereby because you finish building now does not mean you get an occupant into the building immediately. And you already going on a loan and you have to return it back. So you must be very careful to add it all up. That there are some things that personally, for what it is, you will still have to run on your own, but pending the time you're going to be getting an occupant into that space. So that's why they say, yes, the return of investment is high, same as also the risk is high. So you must be very prepared for it. And you can't overestimate how much, depending on your kind of vision you're looking forward to invest to bring to reality concerning that part. So everyone that you want to put in there, because you should also know that it's always a long time lease for commercial. Commercial goes like a long time lease, and this is because anyone that you're bringing into the space who is saying, "I want to rent an office here," also wants to make sure that they have their feet standing. They want to make sure that the people get to trust their business, because they won't want to say they are here 1 year and then the next year they are gone. So they have to be alive to that reality that if they will be coming into any agreement, oh, we are going to be here for the next 5 years, we are going to be here for the next 6 years. So for that reason, it makes it almost difficult to get those kind of occupants that will really want to come into your space. So the vacancy space can really linger, but it sure pays off.
Okay, you've actually answered a whole lot of questions that we have. You've talked on return on investment. You've talked about the risk. You've talked about the economic market trends and
It's
how it
important.
affects
Very
the
important.
commercial and the residential. Okay, now let's get to the management requirements.
Okay.
What's the management requirements between a commercial and a residential real estate?
Thank you. When we started from the beginning, we were trying to talk about why we cannot 100% take you giving out a place of yours as residential as a commercial.
Yes.
And I said one of the things I mentioned is that the management, the what it incurs is that it incurs a larger scope of management. And what do we mean by that? Now you want to look at it in this form. When it comes to commercial, from the beginning, one thing that is for sure that is happening is that money is moving. And what I mean by money is moving is that there are things that you can manage when you're in your residential apartment. Take for instance, you can decide to say, I'm not going to switch on that bulb,
That's true.
and nobody's going to come shooting you for
Nobody's
it.
going to ask you.
But you can't in a commercial environment. Yeah, because why? Even at night, you need the light, the security light to run all through the next day.
Yes.
Because why? It's security. It serves a place of security. In your residential apartment, you want to look at it that okay, I can manage one security in our gates. One security is fine for the whole house, and that's fine. We are able to run us, but you can't really decide that for a commercial environment. So when you're going to a commercial real estate, you want to make sure that you employ more than one head to be the security guards in that place. So before you know it, the management is going way bigger than what you will be thinking of when it comes in the place of residential. Also, you want to look at it and say, okay, for the tenancy agreement, sometimes you want to look at it that, the law, the legal institution coming into play. They have to be part of these things and say, okay, fine, I'm getting a tenant here, and we are going to have them sign some document for maintenance cost. In residential, the landlord has certain roles to play in terms of maintenance. But in commercial, in the management of it, honestly, the tenants, because they'll be staying in there for a long time, for a long lease, so they are going to be the one that manages these commercial places. Okay, and this has to come into agreement. You have to draft that as well. So you're getting agencies to come in with you. That's the legal team to make sure that you're giving a concrete deal for this to make manifest of itself. Also, you want to look at it from the area whereby rent increasing. In a residential, there is a limit to which you can just say you want to come in now and say, oh, I want to increase the rent. But according to what the law says, for commercial, you can even do it yearly.
Oh,
So there are a lot of management that you must know about. You must understand the management of our commercial compared to how the management for residential runs. So yeah, I hope that is it.
Thank you.
yes, you have given us wonderful explanations, like clear, detailed explanations, and we are so thankful because we've had lots of questions, and I hope this has actually answered your questions.
Oh,
So, Mr. Olaoluwa, if someone happens to give you 10 million naira for investment, so would you rather choose residential or commercial real estate to invest in?
wow, that's a good one. But what I get to know right now, would have come to know about the industry. The thing is, for the costing of things right now, 10 million is really hard to go to a whole lot. And I would like to advise for any beginner, if you really don't know much about the commercial, it's fine for you to start on residential. So keep yourself safe and not incur for yourself more debt than you will not be able to meet up with. So for 10 million in the industry right now,
It's not
You
it.
pass.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you,
Vincent Olaoluwa. It was wonderful having you here with us, and
My
it has been
pleasure.
so educative. Even I myself, if I want to invest, I actually know where to go, the things to do, the things not to do. That was so helpful, and I'm sure the audience also finds it very helpful.
Yes.
So at that we'll come to an end of today's episode on the podcast, and we would like to tell you to join us same time next week for another episode and mind-blowing questions and answer session. If you have questions, you can drop it on the comment section. See you. I'm still your host, Grace Samuel, and my co-host.
Ajibon Oluwaseun.
See you
Thank
next
you.
time.
Bye.